G'day all, welcome to my first YouTube video. It's of my radio controlled live steam powered boat. It was given to me as a present from my family. My father, my father knows, built it many years ago. I'm not quite sure if it's of a real boat in real life or if it was just a random kit from my company. I don't even know the company of the model. All I know is he called it Coringa. I've made a few changes to it. The only difference being that I made some whistles to run off the steam, simply out of the Willisco or Wilesco steam whistles on the bottom, the main body, and then chopping the top off and silver brazing some bullet shells at different lengths to make two different notes or two different tones, fed by steam through the brass tubing there. And I've actually got it fired up, ready to go. Looks like we have steam pressure at the safety valve. It's a little gas burner, it's a Willisco or Wilesco marine steam engine, and it runs really well. This was also given to me as a present, and I'll try and film this one-handed with the camera. It's just a brilliant little steam engine. Runs like a Swiss watch in both forward and reverse and all speeds. So at the moment I'm holding it in forward, and then operated by a servo is the forward, reverse and throttle lever, and then we have reverse, which we can slow right down. The steam whistles don't sound real good on steam, but they sound like the old original Thomas on compressed air, but we'll give it a go anyway. Not too bad, bit of condensation there, but not too bad. The whistles are simply operated by the servo you can see there. Just try and get the motor to run by itself for a little bit. Which isn't going to happen for me, but that's okay. So what I'll do is I'll turn the radio control off. I'll just run it manually. Ticking over. While the lid's up, the servos are mounted simply in the back of the hull. The far servo is the rudder operation, and the nearest servo is the throttle forward and reverse operation. The foam block and string is so if the boat ever sinks, hopefully the foam block will float on top of the water surface, and I have about 15 foot of string that will pull through the hole just there, and as the string on the other end is anchored or glued to the bottom of the hull, so if the boat, goodness forbid, ever sinks, this stays afloat. Go and find it, pull it back up, hopefully pull it back. Now the whistles are operated by this servo here through a push rod and a little bit of nitro fuel tube onto the ball valve. Simply goes backwards and forwards and operates the whistles, or supplies the whistles with steam pressure to make them sound. All I've added from the bloke who built it, or since the bloke built it, is some operating navigation lights, which were made out of wood originally. I found these on Harbour Models, and they aren't LEDs, they are lit by a filament bulb, tiny little grain of wheat filament bulb, which gives it the nice old style look of illumination. That's the cabin. I'll speed her up a little bit and pop the cabin back on. The roof does look a little bit ugly on the cabin at the moment. On a budget of near nothing, as I have a new family, or started a small family, trying to keep the hobby alive, so I do things on a budget that work well. Sometimes don't look the best, but they work well and keep the hobby safe as well. So the roof I cut out and put white mesh in there, and inside the cabin is fully lined with heat-proof single-side adhesive sticky heat-proofing mat or blanket or whatever you want to call it. And the hole in the roof with the mesh is simply to let the heat directly from the boiler and the burner straight up. Works really well. The boat stays fairly cool, or fairly at a safe heat, I suppose. Doesn't overheat and discolour the paint, which I've been lucky with. A lot of little details that the bloke made. There's the little portholes and staircases and wire things there. LGB figure I added as well, not too far from actual scale, looking at the doors and the windows and the size of the gentleman. The prop is not scale or not old style looking. It's a racing prop, about 47mm in diameter, and a very big pitch, as the prop that was on it was a very small brass one. Didn't quite work with the steam engine, as the steam engine has a lot more torque than the old electric system that was in the boat. And so I thought I'd gear it up a little bit, and the torque of the motor powers through the size of the prop and the pitch of the prop quite well. So if I need to, I can power on extremely fast to avoid a collision with another radio controlled boat, or get out of a sticky situation with a few sticks or leaves or grass or whatever's floating on the water, if the water gets a little bit dirty or whatever. But I do have the transmitter set to run at flat out with the trigger, about a scale speed, what I think would be a scale speed for the boat. Just a few little other details, little ropes and barrels at the back. Really good looking little wood deck on the top, and the anchor winch. Not a bad little running boat. I can get 27 minutes safely out of a full boiler of water and a full gas container of gas, or gas burner full of gas. Excuse me. I tested that in a bathtub, which loaded the engine up a little bit more, as the boat wasn't actually moving along water, it was pushing against the end of the bathtub. So with a loaded up steam engine and 3 good whistle blows, about 30 seconds each, so a minute and a half of whistle, split up whistle blows at 30 seconds each, I can safely get 27 minutes runtime, and the gas runs out before the water runs out in the boiler, so that's a really good safety measure there, that the gas or the fire can go out before the boiler runs out of water, so you don't burn out your boiler. Just my quick attempt with some old string wrapped around the steam pipes to try and create the look of lagging, steam pipe lagging. A little gas valve down there, so you can either intense the flame or quiet the flame right down, depending on what your running conditions are and what you need the boiler, how much steam you need to produce. So hopefully this is a bit informative or just purely enjoyable for you who have chosen to click on this video to watch. I appreciate a lot of gentlemen and women that have posted videos on YouTube that I've got ideas from or stolen ideas off and put into my models. I have a few model boats, I have a few model planes, I've got some model cars and trains, but I'm mainly interested in model boats. So hopefully this will be the first of a few videos for you for my model boats. And I'll be sharing my ideas that I've come up with or thought I've come up with, and my how I've done things on my model boats to hopefully help others. And also if the young ones would like to get into it, that'd be really good too. Boats, cars, planes, trains, whatever, just into the radio controlled hobby, as it's clean, it's quite cheap nowadays. You can get some cheap, fairly good stuff still. You don't have to go and buy the expensive stuff to start with. You can start off with the cheap stuff. I've turned the gas off, as you might have seen there, and the flame went out, so the engine slows down to a stop. Open the throttle right up, you might get a little bit more out of it. But just a brilliant little engine, easily fitted to the hull. You can see the shiny heat proofing sticky mat on the far side there behind the steam pipes and whatnot. It actually runs water or holds water, or is waterproof, whichever you want to say. Down in front of the boiler there, in between the boiler and the engine, you can see it shining there a bit too. The yellow stuff's just the glue that's gone a bit yuck from the steam and the oil, water and the heat. But yeah, the mat that I found on eBay, it was 5mm thick. I bought 2 linear meters of it at about 800mm wide for $20 or $30 delivered, which is really cheap. And it can withstand some huge amount of heat, more than enough for what the heat is inside the boat here. No heat issues since I've run or built the boat or converted the boat to steam and run it. It stays fine, no heat issues, no discoloration on the cabin, nothing. Really works well. And when the engine leaks a bit of water and oil and whatnot and other things, and the steam condenses here and there, simply just get a rag and soak it up off the heat-proof mat that I've stuck into the hull. That's simple. Well, there she is. Hopefully this has been an enjoyable video for some, or all of you have decided to click on it. I appreciate all the other ideas that I've seen on YouTube, as I said before. And hopefully I can be of some sort of information to others too. Maybe a few of my ideas have helped others with either building or just looks of detailing things. But anyway, thank you all for clicking on my video, and see you soon.